Oasis Entertainment Complex by any means. Yeah. Anytime that you do something different, there's going to be pushback from it. There's going to be pushback from further developmenting of Lake of the Ozarks. Yeah. That's the way it's going to be. Yeah. But I can also tell you that Lake of the Ozarks isn't going to go back to what it was in the 1950s. Right. That's not what this lake is.
Jesse, I've got 2 questions for you as it relates to data centers. The first question is, how do you pronounce data?
Data?
What is the proper pronunciation?
Tomato?
What's the lake pronunciation? Because we all know the Lakers are very particular about how we pronounce like Gravois and Bagnall and Versailles. So how do we pronounce data here?
I don't know. I think we're going data center.
Data. Tell us if we're wrong. That's question number 1. Question number 2 is, it's the hottest topic. Honestly, I can't even remember.
That is a hot one, even hotter than the shootout race course changing.
I think so. It's funny how that's gone silent. And it's stirring up the natives.
Yes.
I'd like to know what your opinion is on this.
Yes. So I guess I would say I'm not a data center professional.
I don't think anyone is.
No. So I don't know. I would like to know, what is the definition of a data center? What's the size of it? I've heard all the bad things like 500 square foot building. Is there different levels to this? Is there some that are the size of a semi-trailer? Because if you told me like you could have internet for Camden County if you had something the size of a semi-trailer that provided internet for all the county, okay, we can figure that out.
I don't think that's the case.
I don't think that's the case, no. But nobody would want something like that in their backyard. Definitely not here at Camden County. Nobody's going to dispute that.
Too many unknowns.
It's a lot of unknowns, which is the thing. Nobody wants a landfill in their backyard.
It's actually a pretty appropriate comparison, I think.
Does everybody want power lines running all over their property? So it's that mesh between a new modern world hitting our existing known. And what does that mean for us? I know that AI for any professional is involved in their daily professional life at work.
Yeah. It is touching. Not yet, it will be.
It is touching everything. And that genie's not going back in the bottle. It's out. It's not something we can opt out of. Say if even the United States was to say, we don't want data centers anywhere in the United States, that's going to be the end of it. Okay, so now the US isn't going to take part in any AI development, which would be very helpful for our adversaries on a world stage. Yeah. So that's not an option either, that we don't have any at all. I think the important thing is, what are they and where do they fit in with our lives? Nobody wants a nuclear power plant on a hillside here either. But do we want energy? It's just that meshing of old ways and new technology. It's going to ruffle some feathers for sure. But like I said, do I want one in my backyard of something that size with a low hum or, blowing through a bunch of water? And what does that mean for
and who knows what side effects, long-term side effects?
Who knows, what long-term side effects when your house is below a high voltage power line. Yeah. I mean, there's the EMF stuff with that got figured out after the fact. Mm-hmm. So we obviously don't want to figure out the downsides of data centers.
That's a fascinating comparison because it makes me think back to whenever power lines became a thing. Now, the world was different then, but I imagine that same uncertainty, fear, anger was probably involved when the world didn't have power lines, and now all of a sudden we have all this beautiful land and it's going to be completely disturbed by power lines, and we got to cut these rows of trees down so we can run power lines. That's a really interesting point.
I drive through Osage Beach all the time and see power lines and down HH, and it's like, man, power lines are really ugly.
Yeah.
What's the cost of burying all those? I mean, it would be astronomical. I would have to think it was one of those things, well, we're just going to put one power line in. Then the area gets developed. Okay, now we need 6, and it just grows from there. So I know the county, the community's been very involved into it. They put some strict guidelines that really forebode these big data centers coming in. I don't know where it goes to from here, but I know it's a thing.
Yeah, because here's the thing we don't know. Nobody's really come forward and said, these are all the benefits to data centers, right? Data centers. Nobody's really said that, and I'm sure there is.
Well, right now we have the benefits of a data center without a data center being local.
Yeah, we're using it all and we have no issues with it. It makes me wonder, is there going to be some advantages to having one close by? Probably not. I don't know.
I mean, that hasn't been pitched to anybody.
Yeah, exactly. And that's part of the problem. That's what makes me wonder, like when you talk about divisive topics or topics that are hot, and the other one we talked about, Oasis development, I was making me wonder, why don't the people that are highly involved in that come out and just share like some of the positive things, answer some of the concerns and questions. I don't understand why that never happens when these kind of things come up. Maybe it's easier just to stay quiet. Maybe that's the answer. I don't know. You and I are looking at this. Not that we're showing up at the courthouse. I mean, frankly, somebody asked me why I didn't go, and I said, well, I'm busy. I've got appointments.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got to pay my bills. That comes first. But honestly, I'm not that passionate about it. I feel like whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And I think everybody who's watching this, especially if you're passionate about this, I hate to say it, but the powers that be find ways to get things done, whether we all disagree and fight it no matter what.
Well, so I would ask you, are you laxing on your civic duty?
Yeah, you could argue that.
I mean,
I don't show up to vote unless it's a presidential election. I'm the first to raise my hand and say that, which is probably everybody else, which is, what, 94% or something?
I know our turnouts aren't that great. I didn't see what the last turnout was it?
Terrible.
Yeah. Which is fairly typical. I mean, that really emphasizes if you care about your area, if you care about your family, I'm not saying that you have to go to every court meeting, but you have to be somewhat knowledgeable in the things in your environment. And also who you're voting for to put in those positions to be able to make those votes. The powers that be, to me, that's a little passive. Like, you have a little bit more to do within your community than just the powers that be.
Yeah, I mean, you're not necessarily wrong, and I'm the first to say, I guess you are. I don't know, wrong's the right word for not doing it, but I don't know. I guess my take on all of it is, if I am passionate about something, if I do support something, I do show up to vote. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, I'm just casually don't really care. And I feel like whatever is going to be is going to be.
Maybe that's what they are counting on.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. For people to be busy in their average life, not pay attention to what's going on around them.
And in this case, that's not the case.
That's not the case here.
If you saw the videos, and I watched a bunch of them, and the turnout was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, so one of the biggest things that I've always been a proponent for is how do we make Lake of the Ozarks more of a year-round destination? Look, we're not going to have industry here. We don't really have the infrastructure as far as railroads, interstates coming through here for factories. That's not what Lake of the Ozarks is going to be, nor would I want it to be that. But I would prefer to have a little bit more year-round things around here. I don't know what these data centers consist of. Just from the little I've read, there's little to no on foot. There's little to no employment for what these things are.
Jobs, no.
So that's where if something was to come in where they brought in high-paying good jobs that then brought up Lake of the Ozarks outside of, and I hate to beat on these guys, outside of bars and tattoo shops, I'm not against that. Oasis Entertainment Complex, bringing in family fun. Look at Hillbilly Town. I'd seen an old write-up that Nathan had done on that. In between where now there's the bypass splits off and goes around it, where Walmart is and McDonald's is on 54 in Osage Beach. Mm-hmm. So in between those two on the other side, I mean, I remember going to that in the roller coasters, and the tower is still there that used to go up and overlook everything. That was a really cool thing when I was a kid. So I'm not against Oasis Entertainment Complex by any means. Yeah. Anytime that you do something different, there's going to be pushback from it. There's going to be pushback from further developmenting of Lake of the Ozarks. Yeah. That's the way it's going to be. Yeah. But I can also tell you that Lake of the Ozarks isn't going to go back to what it was in the 1950s. That's not what this lake is. That's more of Table Rock Lake.
Yeah. And the whole opportunity zone thing, which again, I'm not educated enough about it. All I do know is that I have heard rumblings about what this whole opportunity zone, what this area, I don't know, throw the opportunity zone word out of it because I don't really know what that all means. We've talked about this, that development behind Walmart, we're talking subdivisions, hotels, they're tough. I've seen renderings of them damming the lake and creating their own community lake there. And I don't think this had anything to do with the whole data center thing. Entertainment, a Topgolf, all these things, restaurants, shops. It looked really cool. And then, of course, the data center thing, I think if I had to guess from a developer standpoint, is just a way to help subsidize costs.
Sure.
It's like a TIF. Another hot topic. Right?
I'm not stepping in that one. There's a place for everything, and it's just where's the heart of the community at? And does the community get a say in it?
I feel like the community's having a say in this.
Yeah.
And that's good.
So when you strike something as passionate as this, show up. Let your voice be heard.
Let's segue to if you can hear a little noise in the background, the Fall Stitch family just adopted a kitty cat.
Schaefer finally got his outdoor kitten. I was the biggest we do not need a cat person We had some when I was growing up, and it's not my thing.
And when I drove up here, guess who greeted me?
I was Olive. Olive is her name.
Olive, okay. And it's adorable. It's a kitten. Kittens are cute. I don't want one, but I immediately picked it up and petted it and carried it right to the door, and now the cat doesn't leave me alone.
She is a sweetie. So now we have Olive and Otto.
Olive and Otto. So if you hear a kitten in the background, that's what it is.
Yep.
Just wants to be a part of the video.
Yep.
And it wants to hear what Jesse has to share, which is the April market data.
Oh, man. Oh, the data this time, huh?
I'm sorry. It's a data center, and now it's market data. We're going to keep them very separate.
Man, April was hot for real estate at Lake of the Ozarks.
Same.
For lakefront homes, but very surprising for lakefront condos. There were 80% more transactions for lakefront condos this April compared to last April. I mean,
Haven't had a lot of positive news on condos.
mind-blowing. Not for the past 2 years.
Good.
So yeah, let's dig into lakefront homes first, just like how we always do. 68 lakefront homes sold in April. It's up 28% from a year ago. Lakefront homes have been doing well for the past couple of years. Condos took a break, up 28% from a year ago for lakefront homes. Year to date, 192 sales versus 158 at this point last year. That right there, year to date, we're up 21.5% on lakefront home sales. Median sale price came in at $680,000, up 11.5% from $610,000 in April 2025. These are some big numbers. Numbers that I track every month: days on market, list sale price ratio, months of supply. Big ones for me, just to see where we're heading into. Days on market, 53 days on market for lakefront homes, trending down from December's high of 69 days. Market is picking up speed heading into the summer, and I covered this on our end of year in review. Our back half of last year really picked up a lot. Our first half last year was extremely quiet for being a spring season. Now, I figured that was going to trickle into this. I didn't know how the whole Iran thing and gas prices were going to shake out, but as of right now, it hasn't really affected us that much. I don't know where we'd be.
Other than rates, they dipped up.
The rates were
coming down.
They dipped below 6, and then that happened, and they're back up. List to sale price ratio is at 95.91%, meaning sellers are getting almost 96 cents on their dollar for closing on a home. It's actually up from a year ago. Months of supply, we're at 6.3 months. 6 months is a traditional line between a buyer and seller market. Right now, we're right at that line. Currently, there's 306 lake homes active on the market, and here's how that breaks down by price point. From 300 to 500, 54 homes. 500 to 750, 71 homes. 750 to a million, 52 homes. And 1 million to 2 million, 61 homes. That number is just staggering to me every month.
No comment.
2 million to 5 million.
Stop it.
41 homes on the market.
Stop it right now.
I mean, it's wild. Over $5 million for a home, and there's 9 of those on the market.
That seems to stay consistent.
Looking at this and trying to forecast of where we're going to be at in 10 years, I don't see these numbers coming down. Not with the development that has been going on here. I try to think about, I'll purchase a lake home when this happens. We'll get that to start making memories when this happens. I'm afraid that the Lake of the Ozarks is going to price a lot of people out by 10 years.
Already done it.
Yeah. So if you're out there and you're on the fence about buying a lake house, I mean, I can't make the decision for you. You have your own economics. Don't do anything that doesn't make sense. But there's a lot of memories that can be made, and then leaving that lake home as your legacy to your family afterwards.
Yeah.
That then in 15, 20, 30 years from now, your kids couldn't afford to enjoy a property down here.
The good news is, if you can never afford it, you can still vacation here, because the vacation is going to continue to kick up. The opportunity's there.
Oh, yeah. Who would they contact for a rental property?
Grand welcome. I have one. But yeah, that's not why I said that. But yeah.
Okay, so 106 of those 306 lakefront homes, almost 35% have reduced their price. Over a third of the market has had to reduce their price, still searching for that buyer. So
they're overpriced?
That's what the market's telling them.
Okay.
At least they haven't been able to sell in their desired price range. So those are conversations I have with anybody that I list a property for every Monday. I send them a Monday market update, just a snapshot of what came new to the market, what went under contract, and what has sold in the past 7 days. So we can stay on the same page with what's actually going on in the market. What are current buyers seeing, and where does your property fall? I mean, when we put your house up on the market, imagine your house as a product up on a shelf. Things are being bought off that shelf by consumers. They're picking up other products. Where does your product lie with that? For the amenities, the perceived value that it has by buyers, and the price point that we're in. Going over to Lakefront condos, exciting this time. Unlike the past 2 years. Condos, this is the big number this month, 72 condos sold this April, up 80% from 40 sales last April. That's mad. I mean, I had 3 condo listings I closed on last month that put into this. Wow. Condos are off to a hot start. Year to date, 185 condo sales versus 129 last year. Up 43%. So to be in the through 4 months of the year and be up 43% in sales, any CEOs out there would love to do that to their company.
Do you think this is people are finally getting over the assessments? Because that was a big part of, I think, the down market condos.
Okay, so let's think about that. What happened when interest rates shot up like a rocket? Things cool down. I think it's just that rate of change was so great that it was kind of like one of those, hey, let's pause and think about this. Where are things going to go? Are they going to go up indefinitely? Right. There's a very wide range of assessments out there. Some as low as $1,200 a quarter, and then going up to $3,000 a quarter, depending on
but most people are complaining just in general about, oh my God, they're so high. But it's like now it's just normal, and it's not just here; it's everywhere.
It's any multi-unit property in the States.
Insurance companies have got their rear end handed to them, and they had to adjust.
So what a lot of them did was said, hey, we're losing money. We're going to quit offering products to that segment of the market. So the remaining insurers in that market said, hey, those guys were losing money and they exited. So we will stay in, but we're going to have to raise our rates so that we're not operating in a deficit. I mean, that's...
And then do things like no grills on decks kind of stuff, because that also is a hot button, things like that.
Hot button or safety?
Well, of course, for safety, but I mean, a hot button that kind of, I mean, it was one of the driving, I was kind of, we were leaning, and that was like, pushed us over.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I'm not a fan of electric grilling, although I haven't checked out one of those.
Pellet grill?
No, you can't do that on a back deck.
Because it's still got a fire.
Still open flame. Yeah. The electric Blackstones.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big fan of Blackstone.
I like the Blackstone. I don't like the care that they require.
Yeah.
It's pain.
It's a thing.
I like the electric pellet grill. Man, it's so nice. I grill all the time now.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
Yeah. No, that's the difference between living in a condo and living from home. Yeah. I mean, there were some condo fires. That was bad.
Yes. That's another hot topic. Fires.
Fix that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So if that means getting rid of grills.
Makes sense.
I mean, if you ever put something on the grill that was a little greasy that you shouldn't have and it flamed up. Yeah. Oh, man, you put that in a unit with 40 other units in there. That's bad news. Yeah. Median condo sale price was just about $324,000, down from $371,000 last April. Before you read too much into that, the drop is about what sold, not what things are worth or what the market is saying they're worth. A higher share of April sales were under the $350,000 mark, which pulled the median down. The average sale price is at $364,000, which was almost flat a year ago. Last year we were at $366,000. So the average price is hanging in there. It's just the lesser price properties. More of that sold this past month than the upper price stuff. Days on market, 64 days, down significantly from February's peak of 97 days. So condos are definitely moving faster. We've been saying that since we were going to see a top in the wintertime like usual. Now things are heading in. Months of supply is at 10.2 months, down from March's 10.5, which is a good sign. So we had ticked up to 10.5 last month, and then we actually retracted that because we've had a lot of inventory come to market, but it's been being soaked up. In the second straight monthly decline after peaking at 12.1 months last August. That was a tough one. Still buyer's market, but the trend is shifting. I had looked back, 2013 was the peak for months of supply for both lakefront homes and lakefront condos, and it was almost at 20 months for each. Yeah. 444 active condo listings. Here's a breakdown by the bedroom count. 2-bedroom, 129 units. 3-bedroom, 244 units. And the 3-bedrooms were by far the most sold condo out of the bedroom segments last month. 4-bedroom, only 32 units out there. That's come up a little bit, but it's still, compared to 3-bed, that's quite a difference. 244 3-bedroom units and 32 4-bedroom units. 154 of those 444 have had price reductions, so that's about 35% as well.
That's actually interesting. Okay. They're selling for full price.
Condos is a different beast. You've got options with condos. You've got multiple slips. You've got a garage. Yeah. Bottom line, April showed the strongest sales numbers we've seen in a while across both segments. Buyers are engaged, the spring market is real, and the data backs it up. If you're thinking about buying or selling at the lake, now is a really good time to get into that. Whether you're buying, we've got a very active market, but we've also got a lot of inventory out there with some options, so you can be a little picky. Sellers, you want to get the most out of your property and have it sell the fastest? Let's get that thing fixed up. Let's do a pre-listing inspection on it. Let's see what little things you would have fixed if you would have known about them and get that thing ready for market. Last month, Lake Expo Real Estate Listings received over 1 million property impressions between lakeexpo.com and all of our different platforms. So that gives you more buyer exposure than any other media platforms at Lake of the Ozarks for promoting your property. Jesse with Lake Expo Real Estate, when you're ready to buy or sell, I'm ready to work for you.
Last question. It's been a really warm spring. What do you think the water temp's going to be on Memorial Day weekend?
73.
You heard it there first.
Where are we at now? I think we're at 64, 65. I had a bunch of nephews over this weekend.
Swimming?
Yeah, August was chilling out there on a raft.
Were they not frozen?
No.
So it wasn't bad.
No, we had a warm day on Sunday, was good. I just started pressure washing the dock. I got half of it done, all the raccoon poop and all that stuff.
That's good.
This year, I think I got to put another coat of pool deck painting on the dock. Hot tip, if you have a dock with old concrete pads, the best money I've ever spent is this stuff. I buy it at Lowe's. It's called pool deck paint. I paint those and it made them look like brand new. Old concrete pads that had sit in the sun and really got deteriorated, pressure wash it up, roll that stuff on there. It's fantastic.
Until next month, which, by the way, will be summer.
It will be by next month. We'll already have kicked off Memorial Day. We'll be in the hard swing of things. I know the kids only have
12 days. 12 days. My wife texted me.
It's real. It's here.
It's very real. Awesome. Well, we'll see you. We'll see you in June.
Thanks, everybody. If you want to know anything about real estate in Lake of the Ozarks, I do give out a more thorough newsletter of this with some more breakdowns. You can shoot me an email, Jesse, Jesse, at lakeexporealestate.com. Shoot me a text, give me a call, 573-260-0868. We can put you on our market update newsletter that breaks this down considerably more. Thanks for watching.